Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett, and today we are going to get into the first class for HTML, and this is a HTML basic class. And this entire series of classes is about 5 classes long, and I'll get into what each class teaches. But as far as that goes, let's start weeding people out right now. So for those who are wanting to learn this to get a job in the future, how valuable is this to get in your job? And what I mean by that is, how valuable is it to just knowing this and nothing else to get in a job? The fact is you won't be able to get a job if you only know this one thing. Simple is maybe in the 80s, but today that just wouldn't be the case. The fact is too many people know it, and it's not advanced enough for today's world to just know that one thing. However, you need to know it for the higher end things. Most websites use HTML, and that means that you might have a website that uses HTML for 90% of what it does, but where it makes a lot of money is in the rest of that. So you need to know HTML for the far majority of the site, but the little bits is what you're going to get hired for, and that might be in something like JavaScript or SQL or something else, but it won't be in HTML. So that's something to note, because HTML, it only deals with static information. Basically, if you're looking at something like weather, I don't know, maybe you go to a website and you look at it and it says your area, the weather in your area, and all that. That's not HTML. It's probably built around it, but HTML, it does not have that ability. Two people look at the site, every last thing is going to be the same if you're coding purely with HTML and nothing else. That's something to note. It's very, very static. So with that being said, and most sites, they run HTML, like even sites that are dynamic and everything, they have HTML in the background. I'll show you how to figure that one out pretty quickly if it has HTML. Even WordPress sites have HTML, or most of them do. I'm pretty sure that someone might raise their hand and say no, this one might not. But I can guarantee you, because I dealt with WordPress for years now, WordPress even uses HTML. Or at least most of their sites. Again, I can't guarantee for all. So now that we got that out of the way, what tools will you need for this class? You can use anything you want as far as a text editor, or you can use some other compiler, but I'm going to be using Notepad++. This is a free program, and I'll leave a link down below so you can check it out. But this is a free program, and it's fairly easy to use. Now, why do I use it? Well, let's take a look at this code right here. Well, the thing is on Notepad, it'll all be black, same format and everything else. Very easy to mess up right here. But I can click it and I can see, oh, it starts here, ends here, starts here, ends here, and go down and see if I missed something or something like that. It does, for this HTML, it does autocomplete. So I start, like, say for example, I go ahead and start typing out that, and you can see it's trying to autocomplete things. You have that ability. It has those type of abilities, and it's worthwhile noting that. So with that, I'm going to be using that for this particular thing, but feel free to use whatever you want. So another tip I'm going to give you is look at sites and the code it provides. So whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, Udacity, Udemy, whatever, however you're watching this video, Here's something I want you to do right now, since you are obviously interested into learning HTML. On a blank space outside of the video, outside of anything that's dynamic, right click and go down to inspect. Yours might look different. This is Chrome, so if you don't have Chrome, then I'll suggest getting it. But if you don't want to use it, that's fine. If you go up here, this HTML, especially the doc type saying HTML, this HTML, that's saying the website is a HTML website. It will end with something like this. So it's very important to note that most sites you run across are HTML sites. WordPress sites, I believe YouTube is, and it's very common to run across that. So it's very common to run across tricks and stuff that you might not have known that you can do on websites. So what you need to do is you just use the inspect. And the cool thing with this is, let's say for example I want to figure out that, I'll find it, depending on the browsers, depending on how much ability you have with this, but I'll find it within here and say, oh, how did they get this to be so big? And I can say, oh, they use header 1, which I get into a later video what that is. But I can see that that's a header 1 and not some weird other trick. I can go here and I can see, oh, they are using the image from their own web server and not from some website based on this thing. I could see these tricks, and by the way, I actually show you how to do this in the actual classes. And if you want to look at the entirety, just go look at a page source and you can see here in the entirety. So it's fairly simple and makes it easier to deal with. But I tend to like the inspect on things because you can actually see the exacts on what does what, and that way you can actually have a better understanding on how something is made. And some examples, and you're probably, if you go to Notepad++, I can see a ton of examples I'm going to be showing you out through these classes, so something to note. Now, as far as complementary languages to know, whether you're studying side by side or one after another, I would advise you to, after you understand HTML, try to learn about CSS. Try to learn about JavaScript. Those are the two major ones I would tell you, hands down. Learn about CSS first, but try to learn about CSS and try to learn about JavaScript. Those are the two major ones that complement someone who's trying to learn about web development or web application development. It's fairly important for this because there is a lot of money into this, and these topics are very, very simple. These classes I'm going to be covering is very short. So with that being in mind, I hope that you enjoyed these videos, and I'll see you in the next video. I hope you have a great day, and feel free to ask questions and whatnot.